Hey everybody, it's your favorite friend and fiend, Kenneth Ramon, back here again in the Cruiser Bruiser, back with you this time with another awesome-tacular movie review for you guys. So last weekend, guys, I got to see Final Destination Bloodlines, and I believe this is the 6th Final Destination movie. They were going to stop at number 4, but I guess they decided to keep on going, and why I really wanted to go see this movie was because they hadn't had one in a while. They used to pop them out like one by one, and they all have like the same type of formula, like a traumatic event happens and there's people that escape. There's this character that has the premonition of the traumatic event before it happens, and then she's like, oh guys, you gotta get out of here, we're all gonna die. She all freaks out, right? And then some people either listen to her, and then some people are like, what are you talking about, you crazy old kook, and then they end up dying. And then the ones that escape later, death comes looking for them. They die in other ways, and usually in a fun, type of like mousetrap type of manner. But anyways, no exception here. It does kind of follow the same formula, but what I thought was really cool is they also like brought in new ideas to the mix. And guys, I was looking at movie reviews before going in. Like, I didn't look at like the premise or anything, but like I figured like this is going to be just like all the other ones, but to have a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, I thought, well, there's something up here. I got to see this for myself and see, what the fuss is all about. Why is people and critics raving about this movie? So I went in and watched it, and right off the bat, it had like a new, like, interesting theme that like never before had like Final Destination had done before. They had like this like traumatic event. All right, we have the traumatic event, but it's like taking place in the past. And like, I thought maybe the whole movie took place in the past, and then we come to find that it's actually like a dream sequence that one of the characters is experiencing. And then later we find out that the dream is real. This is something that happened, like 60 years ago to like a relative, and now death is coming for her family, the Bloodlines, so to speak. And I thought, wow, that's like a really interesting premise. But yeah, guys, like going in, I was instantly like drawn by the whole 1950s ambiance and like this big tower that they have going on in the beginning of the movie where they're throwing this party. And I guess the tower had just opened to the public, and you're like thinking right off the bat, like what could go wrong here, And it's like so claustrophobic, for lack of better terms for us people that are like afraid of like going in elevators, and like how they have like so many people crammed up in one place. And you add heights to that, like your fear of heights, going up this big tower in an elevator. Like you're thinking, what could go wrong? Like, could the elevator fall, like, Disneyland type stuff, or, are we all gonna die like right then and there? And then once they get into like the tower for the party, you have this glass floor. Like right off the bat, you're thinking like, what can go wrong? Your anxiety is already like through the roof. And then in your typical Final Destination fashion, everything you can think of and more goes wrong, okay? And then you got this traumatic event, and what I love about this, guys, is you have the traumatic event, but you have how it affects the family dynamic of the future generation for the rest of the movie. Okay, I thought maybe this whole movie takes place in the 50s. I mean, that would be kind of cool. But no, that's just the beginning of the movie, and this movie just has a whole lot more drama. There's a whole lot of character development, which we don't typically get in Final Destination movies. Like, looking back, these aren't really like critically acclaimed movies at all. And then now you have Final Destination Bloodlines, which has a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I tell you guys, it's for a reason. This movie was really thought out. I think this is like, 14 years in the making since the last Final Destination movie. You can just tell that the writers took their time to develop the story. And not only that though, but like the story's characters and how the traumatic experience like plays a role in their family dynamic. And that totally resonates well with like the audience that is watching this movie. You can just compare this movie with the other movies from the Final Destination franchise and see that they just took this to a whole new level. and a more psychological level where you delve deep into like the character's family dynamic. And you don't really get that much with the other movies. I mean, it's kind of scary in itself. Like when you go on roller coasters or you're going on a plane, you're thinking like, what could go wrong? Could this roller coaster go off the loop? Could the plane crash? All this fear just builds up in your head. But you take that to a whole new level where you get family involved. Man, you got a great movie. Sometimes you don't really get a lot of character development, especially in horror movies in general. You know, you just get like, you know, characters out in the woods having fun, and then next thing you know, they die. You know, but with this movie, you really get to know each character. You kind of sympathize for them. You don't want them to die in some cases. You're like, oh my God, I hope this guy doesn't die. And if he dies, hopefully he dies in a really calm way, because I feel for this character right here that's trying to escape death. He's really afraid to die. And I will say the serious tone of this movie absolutely does not take away from, you know, the fun, the gore, and kind of like the comedic scenarios that happen that we know and love from Final Destination. It's still there. And that's what I absolutely love. Like, it doesn't take away from the tone. Whereas, like, this movie that recently came out, Stephen King's The Monkey, which I didn't have time to review for you guys, but it just failed. In my opinion, it wanted to be a Final Destination type movie, and it just failed, man. And I think maybe that's what brought Final Destination back. They're like, listen here, buddy, go take a walk. I'm going to show you how it's done. And they did it phenomenally. This movie still does a phenomenal job in like evoking fear in the audience, like kind of like what happened with the logs. You know, every time you see a truck pulling logs on the freeway, you know, it freaks you out. You think of Final Destination. When watching this movie, I could say, guys, after coming out of the theater, I had my soda with ice in it. And I was afraid to chomp on the ice like I normally do. You know, I don't really think much of it. I just chew my ice. This time, after watching this movie, I was thinking, oh my God, what if there's a big piece of glass in there? I'm going to bite into it. I'm going to bleed, you know. I was thinking all sorts of things. That's what these movies do to you. And this movie is absolutely no exception. It evokes fear, but also evokes emotion. And it's a really good time, and I highly recommend you guys check it out. Hey guys, so before I get to my final thoughts on Final Destination Bloodlines, I just want to thank you all so much for watching my video. If you like what you see so far, please give this video a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate all the support as always. Thank you so very much. A couple other things I wanted to bring up that I really liked about this movie. There's parts in there being a fiend. You know, I always start out my review saying your favorite friend and fiend, you know, because I'm a Misfits fan, guys. I don't know if you guys follow rock music at all or punk rock music, but I'm a huge fan of the Misfits. And there's a little Misfits reference in this movie. If you're paying close attention, you could see the Crimson Ghost pop up during one of the kill sequences. Or actually, that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil it. It may or may not be a kill sequence, actually. But I saw the Crimson Ghost pop up, and I was like, yes, hell yeah, brother. And I also want to talk briefly about Tony Todd's appearance in this movie. They say that this is his last movie that he was filming, and the cast and crew actually knew that he was sick. Like, you could tell watching this movie that he was sick. Like, he's super thin in this movie, which we aren't like used to seeing Tony Todd. But yeah, very emotional stuff here, guys. I want to think that maybe he knew that this was his last movie, and he just wanted to deliver a great performance for his fans, a little touchy type stuff, like kind of like a, you know, don't forget me when I'm gone type of thing. I forget exactly what his lines were, but it really pulled the heartstrings. It was great to see Candyman in his final role. Like, what a way to go out. You know, and I read something online that, you know, the crew had told Tony Todd to make his scene like you were talking to your fans, you know, of the franchise, you know, of the movie. You just like have like a one-on-one with your fans. And he was probably thinking, all right, I'm going to give them a final last goodbye. And I just teared up in the theater. I was like, wow, that was really really heartfelt stuff right there. Alrighty, guys. Well, it's about that time where I give this movie a rating. And I have to say, man, this movie is pretty solid. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Crisscross awesome sauce. And I highly recommend that you guys check it out. I know this video is kind of late in my posting just because I've been super busy with my band. Shout out to the Black Heartstrings. Follow us everywhere. But yeah, we got some shows coming up, so I've been preparing for that, and I haven't had a lot of time to make videos as much as I would like. But yes, you guys, if you get a chance, I know Mission Impossible and Lilo Stitch is coming out, but definitely check this movie out. Don't forget about this movie. Don't forget about Mr. Tony Todd. Don't forget about the Misfits. Check out Final Destination Bloodlines. It kicks ass. Anyways, you guys, thank you so very much for watching my video. Kenneth Ramon, signing off. Hey, what the...